Have you ever noticed that work expands to fill whatever time you're willing to give it? It's sort of like pouring water into a container. The water will fill whatever space you're willing to give it, all the way to the top. Now that's exactly what was happening in my agency. The more time that I had available, the more time that everything took. Client calls stretching longer, projects expanding bigger, and to-do lists growing bigger and bigger. But then I discovered something counterintuitive. By giving myself a smaller container, fewer hours in the week, while I filled that time, it was still less than what I was doing before, and the client results didn't sacrifice at all. In fact, my client results got better. Now, after helping hundreds of agency owners and service providers scale their businesses, I've come to realize that working fewer hours can actually make you more profitable. And for me, and I think for many of you, it can all start by taking Fridays completely off. In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how taking Fridays completely off kickstarted a chain reaction in my business that led to us doubling our profit while cutting my hours almost in half, and the 3 keys that made it all possible. If you're new here, my name is Hickman. I'm the founder of Alt Agency, and we've helped over 800 agencies and service providers scale their business without sacrificing their lives. And again, so much of what we do is predicated on you working less. So many of our clients actually will start taking Fridays off, not having client calls, not doing client work, so they can focus on their own business and or their hobbies. And I want to break down those 3 keys that really made all of this possible. Now, when I started taking Fridays off, I noticed 3 things that really transformed my agency. And honestly, the first one kind of shocked me. Key number 1 is forced scarcity. So most agency owners think that they need more time in order to make more money and serve more clients. But here's what actually happened. When I started taking Fridays off, my effective hourly rate went up, not down. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, this sounds crazy, but what about client commitments? What about projects? What about deadlines? What about my revenue? Here's why this works. When you have less time, you actually start to make better decisions. Decisions on things like what clients you actually take, what projects you're going to accept, and how you're going to spend every single hour of the days that you are working. I started saying no to anything below my minimum level of engagement. I set a rate that if there were any projects that came in below that rate, I was unwilling to accept it. But something magical happened. My calendar started filling up with high value clients that actually respected my time. Now this leads me to my second key, which is treating your own business as the most valuable client. With fewer hours available, I actually had to rethink how I ran my business. Instead of always being on call and always available for my clients, I actually had to start my days prioritizing my own business first, making sure the activities were there to keep my business growing and my business profitable. So this meant dedicating peak hours, sometimes waking up a little bit earlier to prioritize my business at a minimum the first 90 minutes of the day. No more pushing off, focusing on your business till someday. You want to focus on your business first so that the rest of the day you can take care of your clients. Because when you only have 4 days to work, you end up prioritizing the things that really matter the most, and you're going to get serious about the real priorities, making sure that you're doing enough lead generation, making sure you have enough sales calls in your own pipeline, then making sure that your clients are getting results. Now the results for us were almost immediate. We had better systems, clearer processes because we were doing less things, so we had to focus on less, and we were talking with more high value clients each and every week. Now the third key is what I'm calling strategic space. Instead of catching up on emails or catching up on work on my Fridays, I actually started using that day to go mountain biking. My kids were in school, my kids were in daycare, and I could go mountain biking without taking away from time with my family on the weekend and get it all in. And while I was away from my desk, away from the Slack notifications, away from the emails from clients, away from any notifications from my team, I was able to start thinking about the business in completely new ways. That constant fog of busy work, always only being able to see what's right in front of you, I was able to start to see my business from the bigger picture, like 30,000 feet up in the air. What does it look like? What's working? What's not? Where do I want to take this? What do I not want to be doing anymore? Some of my best ideas and the strategies and things that we implemented that have continued to lead to the growth of our business came to me while I'm out on my bike, riding on a trail, away from the computer, away from my phone, and not really in a position to be thinking about the business all that much, letting all of that happen kind of in the back of the brain while I'm participating in an active activity like mountain biking. So it turns out that actually giving yourself space, giving your brain brain space from always kind of fighting the next fire, you actually will expand your view as to what's possible and give yourself the room and the margin to innovate. Now, the beautiful part about all this is once you get this going, you can start to see how you're able to take more time off, and it can actually lead to growing the business. So not too long after I started taking Fridays off, I was able to start taking Wednesday afternoons off. And so I cut calls off after Wednesday afternoons, and I'd squeeze in another mountain bike ride, or I'd go work out, or I'd just do something outside. Again, getting away from the phone, Slack notifications, the client notifications. And that's where I got my CEO time, my strategic thinking time on what are the key things that we need to be doing to move our business forward. And as you do this more and more, you're going to see the value of having this time to think about your business that's taking more time or taking more afternoons or ending a day at 3 instead of 5 way more valuable to you than just continuing to burn the midnight oil. Now, it's not actually about just working less. It's actually about working differently. When you have less time and you're dedicated to, say, working a 4-day work week, every hour has to count. Every project, every client that you take has to be the right one. And every system that you're going to build will get enough attention that you focus on fewer of them, but they become bulletproof. And as I've iterated on that process, those quote unquote emergencies and fire drills, they continued to disappear. The amount of situations that required me to hop in and save the day or be there for my client when something unexpected happened, those got fewer and fewer to the point where they really didn't exist because we had such great systems and communication in place, having figured out how to operate in a 4-day work week while still getting our clients results. And those emergencies that used to happen on the weekend, those don't happen anymore because we have the systems that we put in place to prevent that from ever happening in the first place. And when they do end up happening, because nothing's perfect, the random fire drills happen every once in a while, you will actually have the energy to handle it, and it won't be a huge disruption because it'll be happening once or twice a year instead of multiple times a week. So if you're kind of tired of the done-for-you agency trap, that accidental agency that you've been building for yourself, and you're ready to do things differently, I want to invite you to join our free school community for agency owners, service providers, and consultants that are looking to monetize their expertise, have multiple income streams that get them paid for their thinking, not just their labor, and position yourself as an expert. There's a link in the description below. We offer tons of free training, more on this topic as well. And if you're looking to understand more about how to design an agency in the modern day, in the modern era, in today's climate, then go ahead and check out this video.